Realism is a theory that claims to explain the reality of international politics. It emphasizes the constraints on politics that result from humankind's egoistic nature and the absence of a central authority above the state.
The key concepts found in realist theory are anarchy, the balance of power, and the national interest.
In international relations theory, the concept of anarchy is the idea that the world lacks any supreme authority or sovereignty. In an anarchic state, there is no hierarchically superior, coercive power that can resolve disputes, enforce law, or order the system of international politics.
The balance of power is considered one of the core principles of international relations. Although the theory doesn't have one exact meaning, it is best understood as referring to a state of international order where power is balanced in such a way that nations avoid aggression out of fear of forceful retaliation.
National interest implies the means through which the independence and sovereignty of our country can be safeguarded. National interest also includes efforts to achieve our economic development and to take steps towards increasing our national power. Realist thought can be divided into three branches: human nature realism, state-centric realism, system-centric realism.
State-centrism. States are the most important actors. Anarchy. The international system is anarchic. Egoism. All states within the system pursue narrow self-interests. Power politics. The primary concern of all states is power and security.
What are the main assumptions of classical realism? People are by nature narrowly selfish and ethically flawed, and cannot free themselves from the sinful fact that they are born to watch out for themselves.
What is difference between classical realism and neo-realism? The most significant difference is between classical realism, which places emphasis on human and domestic factors, and neo-realism, which emphasizes how the structure of the international system determines state behavior. Classical realism and neo-realism are two different schools of thought that differ in their approach to international relations, but have some important similarities. They both show that domestic politics are separate from foreign policy, and that states are rational actors rather than agents of morality.
Neo-realism is an anarchical approach to international relations, believing that interstate conflict is rooted in the absence of central authority. It does not believe in defining economy and culture, and takes a different approach to strategies.
Classical realism believes that conflicts arise because states are self-interested and power-seeking units, as they are made of people who are self-interested and unchanging.
Focus. Realism focuses its interest on human nature. Neo-realism focuses its interest on the structure of the system. Interests. Realism is interested in power. Neo-realism is interested in security.
Strategical approach. Realism believes in the implementation of strategies to approach conflict in international relations. Although the neo-realist believes in defining strategies to approach conflict in international relations, this approach is more inclined towards security.
System polarity. Both realism and neo-realism speaks about system polarity.
In classical realism, since the focus is more on gaining power, unipolar system is the type of system of polarity the realists speak the most about. In a unipolar system, there is only one great power. So, to balance the power in an international system, all other countries have to come together to equal the power of the one great power. In neo-realism, bipolar system is the most stable system according to neo-realists. In a bipolar system, there are two great powers, so the international power is balanced. Multipolar system, though it is talked of by both realists and neo-realists, is not a very favorable topic. That is because it means there are more than two great powers. In such a situation, balancing power can be a great problem.
It does not believe in defining economy and culture and takes a different approach to strategies.
Realism believes that conflicts arise because states are self-interested and power-seeking units, as they are made of people who are self-interested and unchanging. Neo-Realism believes that conflicts arise because of anarchy. Since there is no central authority, the states try to seek power to help themselves.
Domestic politics are separate from foreign policy.
They both show that domestic politics of a country is separate from the foreign policy. In these two approaches, states are defined as rational actors rather than agents of morality. They also say that the international system basically stays the same.
Focuses its interest on human nature.
Classical realist theory adopts a pessimistic view of human nature and argues that humans are not inherently benevolent, but instead they are self-interested and act out of fear or aggression. Furthermore, it emphasizes that this human nature is reflected by states in international politics due to international anarchy.
Is interested in security.
While emphasizing the issue of security, realists believe that if the government cannot maintain its security, it should do so. Nothing will be able to do. Under these conditions, an efficient military force to support diplomacy, foreign policy, and finally, security is essential.
Believes in the implementation of strategies to approach conflict in international relations.
Realist tradition describes international relations as conflict between states in which the interest of each state excludes the interests of any other. Under realist perspective, states are free to pursue their goals without any kind of moral or legal restrictions.
Speaks about system polarity.
In realist international theory, polarity is a specific causal concept. The number of powers capable of balancing even the most capable other states in the international system, poles, is taken to determine the system's stability.
Focuses its interest on the structure of the system.
Structural realism holds that the nature of the international structure is defined by its ordering principle, anarchy, and by the distribution of capabilities, measured by the number of great powers within the international system.
Is interested in power.
And the pursuit of power by suggesting they are a result of human nature. It is theorized that within human nature there is a lust for power which drives states to accumulate it where possible.